Welcome back, guys, for another episode of the GhettoRig podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Eddie. To my far left, we have my co-host Jay, and behind the cameras, controlling all the good stuff is Miggy, the man himself. Today we have a guest. It's been a while since we had a guest. I feel like it's just been us three in here, all lonely and stuff. But we got somebody for you guys today to talk to. His name is Connor, but we will not be referring to him as Connor, really. I will say Perry about every single time, and it's pretty funny because when we go out with clients and stuff, they're always like, "Who the hell's Perry?" And they're kind of looking around.
Why Perry?
We'll explain that, or he can explain that as we go on. But yeah, he's a coworker of mine and Miguel's, and here he is, Mr. Caro Ferrante Gennaro, right? Did I say that correct?
Close, yeah. Connor Ferrante Gennaro.
Ferrante Gennaro.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Where the hell Perry came from?
Perry is something that's recent to me. That's when I first started at Lateral Media and Simply Affordable, I was coming from kind of a corporate sales job, and I was wearing like nice collared shirts every day, and that's what I was just wearing to go to work with the guys, and everyone's just wearing slides and gym shorts, and the shirt that I was wearing is a Perry Ellis shirt, so you just started calling me Perry Ellis, so kind of just stuck with it. So yeah,
okay,
not too much behind it, but that's the name now.
It's basically
what was the job you did before corporate sales?
So I worked at a company called Gartner, which is like a tech consulting company, and I was in their like sales training program. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gartner's a big company. It's actually pretty big.
Yeah, they're not doing well now.
Yeah, no. None of the big companies are now doing well. Like, not a lot of them are adapting to the AI, and a bunch of small companies coming in, less overhead, and much faster people to adapt. Because with big companies, you usually get a lot of bureaucracy, top-down thing until it reaches to the bottom. It's already too late because somebody like Eddie or Miggy or I, computer, can pick it up and start building something. By the time they figure it out, get the legs behind them, it's just a little too late. But yeah, I think not First Data, but what's the other big one around? Anyway, there are a couple of them around. There's but yeah, most of those tech companies are just not.
Yeah, they're not doing well. So their whole like claim, when I started working there, was that they had grown 25% year over year since they started, and when I left, I think it was like September of 22, somewhere in there, it was like close to $400 a share, and then I looked at it a couple days ago, and it was like 180.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've just tanked.
The numbers are not there.
No, because their whole thing was like this magic quadrant where you would go into C-level executives, and you'd say, hey, these are the top problems with your position, and we have all of this research and data on how to fix those issues. We step in, we give you all of that data, we advise you on, how to make your position itself more efficient in your department. And now you can just get all those questions answered with AI, so it's hard for them to sell anything.
So, Connor, where did you grow up and reside? And like, give us a little bit of backstory on you just as a whole. I know I think it was Tampa, right?
Yeah. So grew up in Temple Terrace, right there by the Hillsborough River.
Yeah.
Yep. So grew up in Temple Terrace.
Temple Terrace is a little bit away. Yeah, not the Town and Country. Sorry.
Not Town and Country. No, the other side.
Yeah,
so
the other side.
it's like 75 and I-4, kind of in that area. And then I went to King High School, which is kind of just north of Ybor.
Yep.
Right in there. And then, so when I was in high school, did wrestling, football, and then I ended up getting hurt playing football and just started bussing tables working at Tampa Yacht and Country Club.
How long ago was this?
This was 2018.
Yeah, the reason I ask, I don't know if you went through the time where Ybor was like a mess, like shootings and robbings and like.
When I was a kid, yeah. When I was a kid, it was pretty bad. It's still kind of bad over there. But yeah.
Well, then I think now it's a little bit cleaner but it's still you're still getting the same nonsense happening, but not as much. There's a lot more police presence. Like when I'm talking about, like a couple of years back, like people would just stay away from Ybor because like every week somebody got like gunpoint robbed and. Like
there is actually I don't go there very often, but I was there relatively recent, and the last few times gone I've noticed there's a pretty big like police presence in the sense where every corner or so there's a couple of cops kind of hanging around.
And I didn't know. I guess like these officers basically getting paid by the city extra just to be there for those type of events. Like I think they're like
Probably,
double
yeah.
time. You know what I mean on
Mhm.
that when they're doing events like that. Well, because I know St. Pete was that was a big deal. They were like first Fridays, like that's why they're kind of like about the first Fridays and stuff like that.
Well, I think that the first Friday downtown St. Pete was shut down just because of like pure funding,
For
right?
funding
Like
and
they
yep,
couldn't get enough people
money. Yep.
behind, essentially money behind the event to be able to pull the permits and all the stuff that they were doing for that.
But which stuck around because to this day everybody kind of knows first Friday you go out to St. Pete.
It's still like
Yeah,
a
it's
thing.
It's
still
still
a
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
don't
as
have the concerts and all that other shit.
and it's
but
as organized as like them shutting down that street and how
Yeah.
they used to do. I don't think they do that anymore.
no, they
Right.
don't. They don't. But which
Uh,
is fine because like everyone now knows that it's first Friday of the month. St. Pete's gonna be bumping. You know
I
what
wonder,
mean?
is it because I thought the whole reason you could walk around with your drink in that area was because of First Friday. Is that still allowed technically?
Nah, they don't let you. Like if you leave the bar now, they tell you to throw your drink away.
Yeah, because I
They're not
remember
gonna
during
let
First Friday you could walk out of bars and stuff. They didn't care. You're walking around with your drink out in the
Yeah.
out in the open.
I remember walking around. They made me throw my shit out. So.
Really, during when First Friday was still like a thing.
I don't remember if it was during First Friday, but I was just walking around the block at night. We were like bar hopping, and they told me, "Hey, you got to put that down."
Cops.
Yeah, and then they don't want you to come in with any drinks into the bar either.
Right.
Mhm.
That
You know
makes
what I mean?
sense. They
So,
want you
like-
to buy theirs.
Yeah, that's more like they want you to spend the
So,
money.
I kind of want to wean into a little bit of the hunting and stuff like that, but I wanted to first ask you, how was growing up fishing here in this area, and like what you told me a lot of stories about you and your dad and your brother growing up fishing and stuff. What was like just general activities like were you growing up? I mean, I assume fishing, but like, and then how'd you get into hunting?
Yeah, so where we're at in Temple Terrace, we back up to like a creek that's on the Hillsborough River, and back there behind it is Flatwoods, which is a big state park. So I grew up just hanging out back there, fishing along the river, and my dad never really hunted at all. He was big into fishing.
Mhm.
What kind of fish on a river usually?
What kind of fishing?
Mm-hmm.
All fishing, anything I can. So back there, it's like
No,
mostly
I guess I'm
bass,
asking
but-
bass. Bass
yeah,
is that
bass fishing. I mean, you have bass, gar, and a couple others, but
How do you do the gar fishing? Because I know like there's a bunch of different ways. Because they don't really like you can't really hook them right with a hook.
you can, but it's their mouths are it's a very like bony, right,
Mhm.
and a lot of teeth. So you can hook them, and sometimes like the hook doesn't have enough strength to go through its mouth. So if you take like a piece of like burlap or like
That's
rope,
what I heard. Yeah.
and you put that on there, then you can catch them pretty consistent.
Because they get like tangled in that shit, right? And you kind of
They get tangled in their teeth, yeah. So that's like you pull them in, but they're not really like a targeted thing. It's most back there behind my parents' house is all bass fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't have pike here, right? In our lakes and
Yeah,
stuff like
north.
that.
No, the
it's more of a
closest
northern
thing
fish.
we have to that would be pickerel, which is like a just smaller version, and those are mostly in like the Orlando area.
Mm.
Yeah,
More
like
lakes
those
there, makes
more
sense.
bigger lakes. Yeah,
Mm.
you don't really get pickerel
Because
in like the
pike
river.
fishing was huge back home in Lithuania. Like everybody went pike fishing all the time. Like even wintertime, they would just go. That was a big thing. Like if you could catch one, it was like
Yeah, it
you're
was
the
a big
man if
deal.
you pulled those big
Yeah,
boys
when
out.
we went to Lithuania and in Europe, and his one of the guys that works for his uncle, he fishes a lot, like going for pike and stuff. And he started showing me like pictures, and then I showed him like redfish, and it's like, oh man, like that's fucking big, like because like
Yeah.
here I feel like I've seen videos of some guys catching pretty decent sized pike, but I guess that's really rare over there. Like they don't get as big as they would
No,
like
they
here.
do. It's just people fucking overfish over there. Like there's a lot of people that fish illegally and shit like that. So there was a point like the number one country's fish is the eel, right? Freshwater eel, because they smoke them and they're really fatty fish to eat. It's a really delicious fish to eat. And there was a time where they're pretty much fucking running out of eel because everybody was just overfishing. They're using their electricity, like little like bombs and shit they would throw in the water and like shock the fish and it'll float up and they would just collect everything, like snag fishing and all kinds of other shit, and they just overfished the eel at one point, right? Same thing was happening with pike, so they had to like they still do it, illegally.
Yeah, well, the conservation side is like that's a whole like you could go on for hours just about the rules and regulations. Like for duck hunting, for instance, that's something that I do a lot here in Tampa Bay. But back a long time ago, the waterfowl was getting decimated, right? And one of the reasons why is because they were using this thing called a punt gun. Have you ever heard of a punt gun before? So it's essentially like a.
Can you pull it up, Miggy?
It looks like a cannon almost. It's a barrel is probably 3-4 inches around, and they would mount them.
Punt gun for duck hunting.
Yeah, punt.
P-U-N-T?
Punt gun. Yeah, punt gun. Yeah, so that right there. So they would take those and they would mount them. That picture that has that. See that like boat one? One more up, Miguel. You see it's on the boat. Yeah, so they mount them to a boat.
It's like a fucking cannon.
Yeah, literally like a cannon. But they would just fill it with nails and EVs and whatever else, and then there's certain.
They got a whole fucking flock in one shot.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there were certain guns that like, or certain breeds of duck or types of duck species, and that are rafting. So like in Tampa Bay, we have one that's called a bluebill. That's probably like
bluebill. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, bluebill. It's a diver duck, and they raft in big groups out in the middle. And
there's a cool looking duck too.
Yeah.
Is that
so
the one?
not that one. So the one, yeah, that one. That's what they look like.
Still a cool looking duck.
Yeah, they're very pretty. They have when they get a little older, they get some purple and green like iridescence in their head. Their feathers kind of turn that color. The younger ones will have more of a all black on their head. And that's a drake, right? So that's the male.
That's Drake. Why is it called Drake?
The Drake's that's what you call. That's what you call a
I wonder
male
where the
duck.
Drake got his name from because of the duck.
Yeah, maybe.
Male duck, not all species of ducks. They're called drakes.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, so like there's a big company, like a big hunting company that's called Drake. That's based after.
Can you
like,
go down into the flock, Miggy?
That's not even. You'd have to put like bluebill raft or something. It'll be like 1,000 of them. Yeah, like that one where the skyline's in the background. That's what they'll do.
Oh
right?
shit! There's a lot.
There's
of
a
them.
lot of them.
Yeah.
So you sneak up to them with that punt gun, right? And then you can get pretty close with a boat before they start flying off, but not really close enough that like your normal shotgun's gonna kill like more than one. But with those punt guns, they would just wipe out like a whole raft of bluebills.
Get the fuck out.
So bluebill is like the most abundant duck that's in our area, and you can still only kill one per person, whereas most other species you can kill like between 4 and 6. We can only shoot one of those, but they're everywhere in Tampa Bay. You cross Tampa Bay in the wintertime on the bridge, you look to the side, you'll just see rafts of thousands of them, but you can still only keep one because of
in the saltwater.
In the saltwater.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can only keep one. It's kind of frustrating because then I'll go out there duck hunting and I'll shoot my one bluebill and there'll be 1,000 of them around.
But is that because their population hasn't come back, or is it just they haven't changed their regulations since the population has grown?
It's a little of both, but it's it's very dependent on like the region you're in. So like their overall numbers across the country and across like North America are still down from historical numbers, but in our area they've just kind of taken over when they migrate.
But even if you like. But even if you can't, clearly you can't use a punt gun. So if you're using a shotgun to get one, they're gonna just fly away. So now you have to go and look for another congregation of these, right?
Well, so you're not hunting them. You're not hunting them in those rafts like that. So you're still hunting them where let's say you're on a mangrove line, or you're out there in the middle in your boat and you throw out your decoys and you're trying to basically call them to you. So a lot of times you'll get 1 or 2 at a time, right? That fly in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're basically camping out and waiting, and then another 2 will come in, and then you can shoot another 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, so like when I go for bluebills, I'd rather bring just more hunters with me because I can only shoot 1 per person if I'm trying to get a meal out of it. Like, be better if I have 5-6 people there. We can all shoot our 1, and then later on in the season it goes up to 2. So like as the season goes on, you get a date. And then
how do you usually shoot the duck? Is it like pellet bullets, or what do you usually use?
So you're using a shotgun, right? But when you're hunting over any sort of water, you have to use steel. So you're using steel BBs between 3 and 5 shot.
3 and 5 shot. Okay.
Which 3.
Well, I mean, that's pretty significant. I mean,
no. So the shot size is it's forget the exact like how it's detailed out, but
Can you pull up maybe three to five shotgun?
Yeah, so you
shotgun
probably
shell?
have like 40 to 50 pellets in there. It's
Okay,
like
okay,
based on
okay.
the size of it. So you have BB, your number 2, and then you go 3, 5, or 3, 4, 5, so all the way up to like 9 shot would be like the smallest.
Okay,
So
I see what
3's
you're
still
saying.
pretty
so
big,
it's
but
still packed with the little tiny.
yes, but they're like maybe the size of like a like your Daisy like BB, like your
Okay.
like
Yeah.
brass like BB,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit smaller than that is what's in your I forget exactly.
And what's the
how it's
range
rated.
on these? Because they spread out, right? Like once you shoot this spreads out.
Yeah, your pattern is going to be probably, it depends on how far you are away. So the further you get away, the wider it gets, but the less tight of a grouping of those shells. So when you're within 15, 20 yards, you're probably putting out like maybe a 2-foot section, right? But you know, they're fast. These ducks are flying super fast, so they can be difficult to hit for
Gotcha.
sure. Yeah.
How'd you start hunting? You said your dad wasn't necessarily a hunter growing up for you. So how'd that get introduced into your life?
Well, so, you know, we backed up to that like state park, and we have about an acre. And back there, I just used to be like always just playing outside when I was a kid. And there was deer tracks everywhere, hogs, raccoons, and I would go back there and set like little snares and catch raccoons and stuff. And then one time, like, I caught a pig, like a big like wild boar out there, and that was the first thing I ever like. I had to go grab the 22 and like shoot it, and then we tried to make bacon out of it. It was terrible. It was like the worst
Because
tasting.
nobody knew how to do it.
No, nobody knew how to do anything. And then we went one morning. I was very soon after that. We went out one morning and we just sat on the ground, my dad and I, in the morning where the trail was real thick, and we had a doe come like within 5 yards of us,
Oh,
and
shit.
we
Oh,
were
wow.
going like crazy. We thought it was the coolest thing ever, and then we were both kind of hooked on hunting from there. So then we started bow hunting in our backyard.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So then I ended up shooting a hog with a crossbow. It was really like the first thing I ever shot.
Yeah, I shot a crossbow before. It's kind of cool, bro. Like the crossbow shooting is pretty cool.
And they're super super powerful.
Mm.
Yeah.
You don't have to have like the pull and just kind of hold it. It's
So
there.
you
You
were-
just point it, pop.
You
Yeah.
went from looking for, hogs and deer and trapping raccoons in your basically what was like your backyard at the time.
Mhm.
What made the transition to duck hunting?
Duck hunting was more of a recent thing. We had a lease in Georgia that we would hunt for deer on, and
What does that mean? Can you explain like what does it mean to have a lease?
a lease. So you can lease just the hunting rights of land. You don't have to lease the land for all of the properties of the land. Like you can lease just certain rights to the land. So we would
Okay.
sign up, and you'd say, okay, hey, there's 500 acres, right? We're gonna lease just the hunting rights on here, and that's what we would do.
And when you lease that, let's say if you lease that, can I go in and lease it too, or is it just yours now because you can basically go as many times as you want?
Well, so you would have the lease, and it would be just you, right? But if you wanted to split the lease, right, and I would say, hey, the 4 of us are going to split a lease. It's $5,000 a year. We're all going to pay, $1,200 or something, and then we're going to pay that to the property owner, and then us 4 can hunt, and then we set whatever rules we want as far as like
Okay.
how many guests we would allow, how many times we could go, what we're allowed to shoot, right? And we would set that as rules for our hunt camp. So my dad joined a hunt camp when I was young that had like 15, 20 members in it, right? So there'd be about, between all the guests and whatnot, there'd probably be about 20 to 25 hunters on that property throughout the year. Not all of them would hunt, right? But
Yeah.
those are
Which
people
makes
paying
sense. I mean, it's a big property. Why not?
Right, but there's challenges with that, which is like, the first one we were in, it had been a hunt camp for so long that all these guys, they were all in their 70s, right? And they had all the best areas of the property that they were like, oh, that's my tree stand, only I can hunt out of it. And that was like the rule. So as a new guy coming in, you'd get like the scrapped areas and then try and figure it out. So we learned quickly, like, you don't want to be in a hunt camp where not all of the stands are equal, right? Because that wasn't an equal one. It was like, this is my stand, I'm the only one that can hunt it. All the best ones are taken. So then we got in a hunt camp where it was more like all of the stands were the camps, right?
So even if they're not there, you're not allowed to go on their stand. Is that?
That's how that one was.
Well, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, so we
You're not
only
there.
stayed in
What
that
do you
one for a
care
year.
who's in that stand? You know what I mean?
Well, because like the deer live in certain areas or so.
No,
they
I know,
believe.
but what does that person care if you're in this hunt stand? If they're not there, they're not hunting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's more about deer hunting gets very particular with those camps because it's not like it's fishing where just more fish kind of move in. It's like there might be only 4 or 5 deer on the whole property that you're really after and want to shoot, and you could be waiting it out, and somebody else kills it, and then that one's done. Like that deer died. There's no like you got to wait till next season, or like you might not get one.
How sustainable is that? Having a set spot, which I get it. Like people go to certain parks, or whatever, and just like fishing, right? There's spots where people go, right? But like, how sustainable is it?
Hey,
that
Emily.
These guys are just using this one piece of land, right, and spreading it across the multiple. And it says it sounds like you said there's some guys that are 70 years old, right? Probably been hunting the same piece of land for 30 years or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
How sustainable is that? Like you just said, there's only 5, sometimes like let's say 5 deer on the whole property, and you're trying to get this one that goes to a specific spot. They only how long does it take for a deer to get to a good size where it's like really shootable?
Yeah, so a mature buck, in like my opinion, everyone has different opinions. Right. I would say anything over 4 years is a mature buck. That's going to be a good sized deer, right? 3 years is a 3-year-old buck can sometimes have like larger antlers than some of your 4-year-olds, depending on the genetics and nutrition, but like a 3-year-old deer is still a good one. So you have guys in there, maybe some of them are shooting your 2-year-old deer, right? And you're in that camp with them, and then they're shooting a 2-year-old deer or a 1-year-old deer, and then you're like, man, I've let 7 of those deer walk by, and I have chose not to shoot them because I want them to grow. And they walk over there to somebody else that's in the camp, they shoot it, and you're like, dang, I should have fucking shot it. I should have shot it when I had the chance, and I didn't. So it can get frustrating when you're in those camps with multiple people.
And I'm sure at the time it's probably people that are like don't go don't go hunting as much. They just want to bring a deer back and say that they shot one, and they don't care what it is. Where somebody that's a little more avid hunter, they're like, I'm gonna take care of my territory.
Same thing with fishing. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with fishing. I mean, people who don't fish as often. I mean, not to say that there aren't avid fishermen who are like very about keeping as many fish as possible.
So ultimately, what I'm getting out of this is basically either buy your own piece of land or just lease it, and you're the only lease owner on the land.
Yes. Yeah, or you just have a group that you just trust everybody, and everyone's under the same rules that they agree on in the beginning. The problem with we're talking about when I first got in, when I was 10, 11 years old, my dad first got into hunting. Those are just mistakes that we made from being novice at it and trying to get into it. And it was tough. My dad would spend the money. We would spend all this time. We would set up tree stands. We would do everything we could. And then it was like, and then something from somebody else in the camp would mess up what we were trying to do, or we weren't allowed to do what we really wanted to. And it became frustrating. So then we joined a different camp. And that one had even worse issues than the first one. And so it was this guy. We went to Adventure Archery, which is off of 301. And there was a sticky note that said, like, hunt camp, like, need new members. And we joined it, and this guy was super old. He had polio. His arm was, like, just this little rail of an arm. And he was running this hunt camp. What he was doing is, he didn't care who was a member, right? He had a certain number in mind where he would hunt for free. Because if the landowner was leasing him the property for $10,000, and you go, okay, well, if I get 15 guys to pay me $1,000, I'll make $5,000
on top, I get to hunt
and I get to hunt. So that's what he was doing. He actually, because there's a going rate for the amount of acreage that you have. So he actually told everybody in the piece of land that we had that it was like 750 acres. Well, really, he was running all of us. We thought it was 750. It was really 500. He had another 250 over here that he had another 10 guys, and he was running them. And he would just say, oh, that other hunt camp over there, like, those guys will get mad if we do this. Those guys will do that. he was in charge of all of it.
Damn, he's a scammer, bro. He's
Scammer.
scamming.
Yeah, and
Hustling like the shit out of all you guys.
Yeah.
dude, out of everybody. And then how he actually ended up going to jail.
Nice,
because
hell
he,
yeah. He deserved that shit.
Well, it had nothing to do with the hunt camp, even though it was in that area, that little small town. He tried to pay the cashier at the grocery store, like
With antlers?
like to be like a prostitute and go back to like the hunt camp lodge with them. And he got arrested for it and then lost the whole lease of everything. And then we found all this out because we were like, whoa, like the landowner just like canceled our lease. Like, what's going on? My dad approached the actual landowner for the first time. He told him all of this after the fact. And then my dad took over the whole lease. And then we had it all to ourselves, which was amazing. And then the landowner, he died, left it all to his son. And his son chopped the whole property to log it, to get all the trees off the property. And he told us, yeah, we'll leave up all your hunting places so you can still hunt. We got there and it would be like 200 acres. It'd be one pine tree with a tree stand in it. That was like like 1,000 yards away. It just our one tree stand was left up. He cut down every tree. So then, you know, we were pretty sad about that. So we stopped the lease, and then that's how I got into duck hunting, because I didn't have anywhere to hunt. So then I started public land hunting for ducks in Tampa Bay. So.
Explain to us a little bit. I mean, I think I might have talked to you about this before. But how is the whole rules about going and hunting in the Tampa Bay, right? Because, like, you believe it or not, there's a lot of people that have lived here their whole lives, me included, up until probably 5-6 years ago when I met somebody else that ducks hunt in the Bay. That I didn't know people were hunting in the Bay, shooting guns in the Bay. To me, that when I first heard that, I was like, you mean right by Gandy? Yup. Like, what the fuck you mean? So explain to us the rules a little bit and how that works, and, you know, people feel a little bit safer maybe about the fact that people running around Gandy with a shotgun.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's public land, right? So
that's
like
the whole thing, right? Like that's the whole thing of open carry with the rifle. Because if you got a fishing pole in your hand, they can't say shit to you if you open carrying.
Yeah, well, that's kind of more of a recent thing with the fishing, but the hunting, it's always been this way where you're on public water, right? And as long as you're able to access where you're going from a public boat ramp with your boat that you're using, right? And then you stay out of any parks. So it can't be like a preserve or any sort of park, right? And then it can't be within, I think it's like 400 feet of like a residential like property or something. So as long as you're within those three things, then it's perfectly legal to hunt there. So when you see those videos of guys and they're like under somebody's dock and they're hunting with a shotgun or something, it's because the dock might be long. You see those really long docks? The dock might be long enough to where the end of it is still far enough away from their house or their property that you can technically still hunt there. So like there's a lot of videos online of like people getting super pissed because they come out and they're like, you're standing underneath my dock and you're hunting, and then the FWC gets called. Those guys are legally allowed to be there, and then the homeowner might get charged with hunter harassment, and the person who called might get arrested. The hunters have a lot of rights on the water out there.
They've added that too now to fishermen, the fishermen's harassment.
Right, so it's like basing it off of like what they've had for hunting, because I mean a lot of people are against hunting, right? So if somebody comes and ruins your hunt, they made that illegal. So there's that hunter harassment. If a Karen comes out there and starts yelling at you or throwing rocks into your spread, trying to scare off the game, I could then as a hunter call the game warden and get that person arrested for messing up my hunt, which is cool.
Makes sense.
So
makes sense. I mean, why are you fucking with me? If they're allowing, why are you messing with me?
Yeah, I'm doing everything legal. Why do you feel the need to? And hunters, like a lot of people don't realize that hunters are, like I know a lot more about the ducks and the deer and the hogs and anything than a person who's not a hunter, right? Because I love it, right? And I'm passionate about it.
Even though you're hunting, you're out there, killing the animals for food or whatever. You're still more about preservation than any other average person as well, right? Because you want to keep doing your practice and do it right.
So you can sustain it, so you can continue to do it.
Right. So can you imagine all these leases? There is thousands and thousands of hunting leases. Could you imagine if they weren't getting the money from the hunters to hunt that land? What are they going to do? Cut down all the trees, make it into a farm, turn it into something else, right? But you're there paying.
Because you're paying taxes on that shit,
Yeah. yeah, you're paying the landowner, so he has income coming in, and he doesn't have to have a farm or have.
So not only does it help sustain the sustainability of being able to hunt and these animals staying alive, but also their habitat. It's helping keep their habitats there in the first place by having these leases, and you're saying not having it to where they're just going in and logging the whole property.
So is it better to own the land or to own the lease? What's better, or is it just kind of like a preference thing?
It's just a money thing. I mean, it's very rare that you could have enough money to own a piece of property to have that many people be able to hunt.
Yeah.
So
What happened? Why y'all laughing at
I
me?
what do you say? I hate
think
when
that's-
people throw rocks in my spread.
I think that's nuggets.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised.
What's like your worst Karen encounter on the water, fishing or hunting? Because, like, I mean, I grew up like bass fishing a little bit when I was a kid, like hopping around ponds here and in Kansas City and stuff. And I definitely had a couple homeowners come out and be pissed off, but sometimes rightfully so. But like in general, what's like the worst encounter you think you've had, if you've had any notable ones?
I mean, I've had some really bad ones with like people yelling at me that were probably like the worst for me, but the kind of, I guess, like funniest one is when I was a kid, we were doing bow fishing, right, for tilapia, and we were in just like a residential neighborhood,
Yeah.
and we were shooting the tilapia, and the cops got called, and it was on me and my brother, and we're in middle school, right, and the first cop that pulled up, he was like, "I'm getting you guys on trespassing and with a deadly weapon," and we're like, "We're just fishing." And he's like, "You're not fishing, you're using a bow and arrow, like that's not fishing." And then luckily the second cop that pulled up, she had actually heard about like bow fishing and was familiar, so she was like, "No, I think they are fishing." And then the one cop goes, "Well, if you can show me a fish that you got with that, then we'll let you guys go. You just can't do this here anymore." And we pulled out a couple of tilapia out of the cooler, and then they let us go. So it worked out. But
Do you always eat the meat, I guess?
yeah. I mean, I'm under the belief that like if you're going to kill something or take the life of the animal, then you have to like respect it and do right by the animal.
Because I know a lot. The why I ask is because I know a lot of people will hunt deer and they'll eat the venison, whatever, but they don't like to eat the boar, right? Like the wild pigs and stuff like that.
Right.
They just kind of, they say no, it's more of a dirtier
Well,
animal.
he actually can talk to that a little bit recently. So he just went boar
Pig
hunting.
mhm.
Yeah.
Right? So talk us through that a little bit, and then also maybe answer his question on how you were telling me with the sausages, how you wanted to get different stuff to kind of mellow out that gamey flavor you're gonna get with wild boar.
Yeah, they can taste, like they have bad reputation because of like cooking and preparing the meat wrong. And also, it's a pig, dude. Like you shoot them and you walk up on it. A deer, it's like, yeah, it smells fine. Like it's like very clean. The pig, like it smells like a pig. Like your whole truck will smell if you throw it in the bed of the truck. Like when you walk up to it 10, 20 feet away, you can smell. It just smells disgusting. It's like, and people just, they'll shoot them and they'll be like, why would I want to eat something that smells like that bad?
Death,
right?
yeah, basically musky and shit.
Yeah, it just smells terrible. So like when we were up there this past weekend, we shot 16 hogs, and I was only there from Saturday at like noon till Sunday morning, and none of the rest of the guys wanted to like process and take care of the meat from the pigs. So they literally had a pit with water in it that had gators, and we were just throwing them in there, and the gators were just going to town on these pigs.
I think that was pretty sick to watch.
It was cool, but like I felt so bad because like my whole life it's always been like if you shoot something, like you have to eat it. So then I did take a few of them where I was like, no, I'm gonna like stay up later until like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever and skin, or I'm just gonna get up earlier and make sure I take care of a couple of them.
So once you skin them, the smell, I'm sure, is gone, right? Because it's basically on a coat, right? All of the smell.
Yeah. So like the meat doesn't have like that smell to it, but it's still, it's very lean. Like that hog that's out there in the wild, he's running around. He's
fucking eating acorns and shit whenever he can find them.
Yeah, it's very different from your pig that's been fattened up on a farm, right? So it doesn't have that fat.
Getting fed all day.
Yeah, he's not a big fat
walks like
pig.
10 feet a day. Yeah. Versus these guys are running around all day. And they're strong as shit.
You ever had
Yeah.
a pig charge at you?
I have a couple times.
And
Yeah, and it was scary.
Yeah.
It was very
you had to like
frightening. I have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time, well, when I was younger and we were in the backyard and I had walked up and there was a hog on the corn that we had laid out back there, and it was a monster with big cutters on it. And I had my bow, so I drew back on my bow.
Big cutters. What do you mean?
The teeth.
The teeth, they have like
They-
the boars will have big like sharp teeth, and they will try to like hit you with them. They're not biting you. They like go like that, and they.
Oh.
It's like knives that stick out of their. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a warthog, but that. Yeah, that one right there. You see those right there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And,
they'll
and
try
a
and get you
regular
that.
pig, if you throw them in a forest, like you just let them go, they'll start growing that plus the fucking fur.
Yeah, they'll start. Yeah, they like completely change over. Like that's why they call them like a feral hog, because like if you take a domesticated one and let it go, it'll become close to. That's not a right one.
Right. So how you drew your bow back? You said.
So I draw my bow back, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with like the compound bows, but you have this thing. It's called a peep sight. It's like a little hole that you look through, and I was shaking so bad I couldn't like see through my peep sight to like aim. I was just shaking so bad, and eventually, like my brother was with me, and he like kind of walked up, and then with both of us there, it had charged at me, and then stopped, and then when he kind of like stepped around the tree, then it like took off running, and I came back and told my dad, and he was like, "Well, why didn't you shoot?" And I was like, "I couldn't find my peep sight, like I couldn't find it," and he was like. Because you were shaking so bad, you're so scared, you couldn't see through it. You were shaking like that. So my dad, you know, we were young. I was probably like 12 or something. So my dad, he was like, I guess I'm going to have to go back there and take care of that like problem one. So he went back there and shot it like the next day. And it was a monster. Like this thing was probably 250 plus. He had a big walking stick that like we had bought. Like somebody had made this like walking stick. It was like that big around, and he went to go roll the pig over, it just snapped it.
Oh shit!
Like it was, thing was well over like 250.
Damn.
And I had another one that like charged at me, but that one I shot when it charged at me.
Would you shot with a bow or?
I shot it with a shotgun.
Shotgun.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Have you heard of? Because I know a buddy of mine keeps telling me that he likes to go boar hunt, and what he does, he like basically like jump on him and then he'll use a pocket knife to just kill him. You ever heard of people doing that?
Yeah, I got a couple. Like one of my buddies that I was with yesterday, they run dogs for the pigs, and yeah, they'll just grab them by the leg and knife them, or they'll tie them up, because you can tie them up and then you can castrate them and then sell them, and then the people will fatten them up and then sell them for meat.
Oh shit! Okay.
Really, I didn't know that.
Why do you castrate them?
Because they lose all their like testosterone, and they just start like packing on the pounds and not like.
Do you at least administer fucking some sort of lidocaine or some shit before you cut the balls off?
They just cut them off.
God damn,
yeah.
they gotta be screaming like motherfuckers.
Screaming. Yeah, they just cut them off. They don't even.
No, I mean
nothing to it.
That one,
like it's nothing to
you
it.
gotta be a sociopath to do that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't care what like the amount of money. Like I don't know if you.
I've never done that.
Well,
I've seen them do
how
that.
much you gonna sell the fucking whole pig for? Like, let's just be honest. All right, you cut the balls of what, $500, $1,000? Who's paying you
No,
that
not
much for
even
a hog when you could go hunt one on your own for $350? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sometimes so other like lodge like hunting operations. Sometimes they want those like trophy hogs, and they want them to be bigger, and they'll grow bigger faster. So like they'll just castrate them, and then they'll just release them back out there.
To catch them, to shoot them another day.
So that's more of a like that's more of a flex type of deal where they're trying at all lodge you can get these big hogs, you know, whatever.
That.
I had an uncle that used to own a farm, and he would like have that business going where he would fatten up the pigs and then sell them. I was today years old when I found out that's the reason they fucking took out the testicles. I've experienced this before.
You've seen them cut the. Yeah, they will.
They use like a surgery thing and everything. And
yeah, you just cut it out.
Cut it open, take them out, seal it back up, suture it.
Yep.
What do they do? Just throw them away, or they eat them? No, there's some countries that eat that shit.
Once you suit it back up, they're good. They'll just walk around like normal. They'll put like some medication to like prevent infection and stuff, like the orange liquid.
Iodine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they do. They castrate. So one of my buddies, they castrated a pig one time and let it go, and then they skinned the ball sack of the pig, and then they took it and salted it, and they put it on the shifter of like the little like car they had in all the woods, and then like anyone would get in there and be like, what is this little like fur thing you got on there? And be like, oh, that's a pig's nut sack. Yeah, just to fuck with people. But.
So this last trip, you said you got what, 16? You said.
Yeah,
16.
total. I mean, between the 4 of us, I shot 8 pigs, but.
And how big were they?
It was a range. So the first day I got there, I shot one in the daylight, and it was probably about 80 pounds, and then we went back to like the hunt cabin, and then they actually had all these cell cameras with solar panels and like a live feed, right? So these trail cams, you walk past them, takes a motion sensor, takes a photo, automatically uploads it into the app, and you get a notification like, hey, there's something that just walked in front of the camera. So all their spots had those cameras on them. So we see, 7 minutes ago there was 30 hogs on field 6 or whatever. So then we grabbed the thermals and hopped in the ATV, headed over there, walked over, and like snuck up on the field, and we laid down, and we were like, all right, I got the one on the left, you got the one on the right, 3, 2, 1, and we just started shooting.
Blasting.
Yep.
Because they say, like, yeah, when you're doing hunting, like, especially you're doing camp hunting, they don't allow you to have more than, usually when you go, like, you know, those places where you camp and do all that, they won't let you have more than 5 bullets for that reason, because especially if you're camping, one shot, they'll run away, basically. So, like, there's no need to have more bullets than, like, I was always under the assumption that you take, like, 40, 50, I don't know, 200 bullets with you, but
is there some kind of rule on, like, what firearms and, like, magazine capacity and all that stuff when it comes to hunting?
Well, it depends on what you're hunting for, and some of them are super strict, and then other ones there's almost none, right? So for hogs, there's nothing. Like, there's no. Some states have a little bit of regulation on hogs, but most states almost nothing.
Shoot them with whatever you want, however you want.
Yeah.
What is the most common weapon, I guess, they use
for hog hunting?
Shotguns?
No, it'd be like an AR-10.
AR-10.
Right? So 308, but on that like AR platform. Yeah. Just because there's more attachments that you can put on, like it's easier to swap between, you know, a regular scope and a thermal, right? You can put flashlights on it. You know, the hogs can't really see. They can't see like us, so you can even put like a red light or a green light, and when you turn it on, they don't even notice that it's a light. So you could have a green light on your gun so that you can see when you're walking, and then when you pull up to shoot, you could turn it off, go to thermal, and then be able to shoot with a thermal, and the hog doesn't even know you're there. Like, we didn't have one of those green lights, so it made it tough, because like now we're just walking like pitch black, like can't even see each other, having to look through the thermal scope just to see like the trail that we're on
in the middle of the night, because it's dark, because there's no light pollution there.
No light pollution. You're just like pitch black dark.
Do your eyes adjust sort of a little bit, or not really?
I mean, when it was that dark, there was a time where, so I was in the side by side, and how we were doing it is we were rolling up on the fields, and then one of us would scan the field with the thermal to see if they were even hogs there still, right? They'd be like, okay, yep, there's a group over there, so let's get out and let's get ready, and then we'll shoot them. Well, one of the kids was scanning with the thermal, and my brother-in-law, who's in the back seat, I didn't even hear him. He gets out and he goes to like scan in front of it, and I watched the rifle kind of swing over, and I barely could just catch the outline of his like shoulder. Like, I could not even see him. He was standing like 2 feet from me, and I felt kind of like the gun moving this way, and I saw that he was right there, and I grabbed him, pulled him back, and I was like, dude, you can't just not say anything and step out in front. Like, he almost had a loaded gun pointing at the back of his head, didn't even know, right? So it can be dangerous. So you got to be like very careful when you're out, especially at night like that, because you're just getting heat signatures, and it's not like perfect imagery on those scopes. Like, two of the gun, like we had 3 thermal scopes, and 2 of them, it just looks like a red blob. It doesn't even really doesn't give you too much of a like
the
detailed
different
image,
yeah. One of them that we had, which was the one I was using, I had it set correctly where like I could see every hair on the pig, right? But we only had one of those. The other ones were yeah. I think it was more just the settings. Like, there was the same scope, it was just like they had it set up wrong, and
so now that you say that, like, you know, what if there's a couple of hunting groups all at the same time? Like, there's got to be a lot of communication through radio, like saying, like talking to them, like, hey, we're on this fucking field, don't be shooting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of that. But there's, you just don't, like, this was a cool opportunity. I've only done this twice in my whole life, right? And it was a cool opportunity because that place was so private and it was such a big tract of land and there was only 4 of us there, right? So it was like very...
it was just to yourself, so you didn't really have to worry about it.
You didn't have to worry about anything, right? If you were going to be on like one of those other hunt camps and there was other people around, they probably would just say like, oh, you got to stick to that area. Like, you can only do that in this section of property or something like that. Make some sort of rule to make it safe, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. So the now, I also heard, now I don't know how true this is, because a lot of people say, like, you can't just go in there, especially when you're deer hunting, because they got a really good sense of smell. Like, you can't be smelling, like, you know, deodorant and things like that. There's, like, a special way to prepare for this hunt. What's the ritual for that?
Yeah, so, I mean, they can definitely, like, they'll wind you, right? We, like, call it, like, getting winded. So if the wind is in your face and the animal is downrange, they almost have like no chance of smelling you, right? But if that wind turns and blows towards them, then like 90% of the time, no matter if you're spraying down with all the no scent, if you're like, there's nothing wrong, you did everything perfect, you still might get winded, right? Like, it's very hard. The scent control is like, is a major issue.
How do you go about there? Because I know, like, all right, so cool, like, you know, you didn't use deodorant because adrenaline is rushing, like, you're gonna start sweating. Them onion armpits gonna come out, right?
Well, we have
no
scent deodorant.
Oh,
we
you
have
do?
like unscented deodorant that we'll wear. We have like no scent soap, that like shampoo that you'll use. I think it has more to do with like, you want to be clean too, because like they can smell like the human scent. So like not having like dead skin or anything like flaking off. So like
almost exfoliating. All
yeah,
kinds
so you
of
want to
shit.
like scrub down with the no scent as much as you can to limit that. But at the end of the day, it's mostly just the wind. Like, you just have to play the wind correctly. So
That's crazy.
that's how so like,
Can you imagine how fucking people did that back in the day when they didn't have scopes and shit? They had to go there.
They just
with a
all went by the
Big ass
wind.
fucking
Yeah.
cannon out there.
Yeah, well,
And
they
they
all
didn't
went
have
by
like
the wind.
deodorants or any of that shit.
It's
like
all
King Arthur's times, you know.
Yeah, they had to be really good. Like, you're talking about like thermals too. So like if you're up on top of on a mountainside, right? And like there's no wind anywhere, but the thermals are drawing, like the cold air will settle and it'll bring your scent with that. So if you're hunting and you're expecting the deer to come out of a bottom and up the mountain,
They're not.
they might wind you from just because you're up higher than them and there's no wind that morning. So on a day like that, you might want to hunt down in the bottom because you're trying to play the thermals correctly and the wind at the same time. So there's a lot of variables that go into not getting winded by the animal, and that can separate like.
How long did that take to get used, like to start like understanding this dynamic?
Oh, right away. You learn it right away, because as soon as you get in the tree stand and you go, it's fine. I don't care what the wind's doing. I'm still gonna go. And then that first animal walks out, and the second they get like within range, they put their nose up and they bolt, and you're like, shit, like that was my fault. I should have set up over there, right? And you learn it pretty quick, because you can feel it. You'll have these little like bottles too with like almost like a baby powder in them, and you just like spurt it up into the air, and you'll see like which way the wind's blowing, and you'll know like, oh, I'm set up wrong, or I should move, or
well, how do you do that at night when you can't see it?
Well, at night we were just rolling up on fields that like we already knew the wind was in our favor. Right, so I know which way the wind's blowing, so I'm only going to go to those fields. And then we were cross-referencing that with if the pigs were there on the game trail cameras at that time. So we'd know, okay, that field has good wind. I have a good access road to get to it.
Same thing with pigs?
Yeah, the pigs have great sense of smell. Yeah,
Really?
Very
Well,
good.
if they can't see really well, that just only makes sense that they have to smell really well, you know.
They almost smell like, it's like their smell, I think they, like, people have described it where it's like a color. Like, the scent comes through the air and it's like our scent might look red to them, or like a different off color from like the other scents that are in the woods. Like their smell is so great that you have no chance. If it's blowing, the wind's blowing towards them, they're gone. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's impressive.
Would you say that's like their main mechanism, that defense mechanism, to keep from predators?
Is there smell? Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, because we don't really have in Florida or Georgia for that, we don't really have a predator against pigs, right? Like that's why there's such a big population. Is nothing out there. Like okay, I guess you have a Florida mountain, like,
Florida panther, would be the
panther and
only
stuff like that, but
Mhm.
there's not a lot of them. So how many of them are out there to, to control the population? Maybe coyotes. We don't have any wolves really.
Yeah, coyotes, for sure, coyotes. But I mean, it's really just humans is the only thing, and we can't even control them fast enough because a pig will have 3 litters a year at around 12 per litter.
Fuck.
So you get one sow that moves into your property, and then within a
36
year,
of them.
there's 36, right? So it's like,
And then that's
how do you
within that
control that?
year, but then they get what? How old they gotta be to put another litter?
I don't even think it takes but 6 months or something.
Shit.
Before
So
they
in
can-
that year, you just
you just got hundreds of
like
them now.
quadrupled.
Yeah. So like we're out there. That's why you look at it and you're like, oh, we shot 16 pigs. Well, like there was hundreds of pigs out there. I was shooting into groups of 16 at a time, right? And it's like you're not ever really.
How
gonna be
many
able to
have
control
you
it.
have you gotten out of one group? The most you've gotten out of one group is usually one, right? Or is it more sometimes?
It was usually one on this trip. I think we shot 3 was the most we shot out of like a group of them.
But that was a bunch of you shooting at the same time, right? Like,
Yeah, there was
individual.
2 of us shooting. I shot 2, and then the other guy shot.
Oh,
1.
you did get 2, so
Yeah.
it was like pop and pop right away.
Yeah, so like we line, the pigs don't know we're there, and I shoot the first one, then they do, and they start running, and then I just led one, and it was probably 150 or so yard shot, and I just led one out in front of him and headshotted it like way out there. I was surprised that I got it.
Yeah, it was just more of a Hail Mary. Let me look.
Yeah,
let
I
the
was like,
bullet
yeah, let
loose,
me
let's
just-
see what's gonna happen.
Let's see what's gonna happen when you're shooting a 308. It's kind of at these small, because it was smaller pigs. You're pretty much gonna knock them out. Like you're taking care of them with that 308. On a bigger hog, you might kill them and not be able to find them, and they might run maybe 50, 100 yards or something. But you're probably gonna get them with that 308.
Have you ever seen? You've seen, I'm sure, the Texas one where they take you up on a helicopter, and you ever wanted to do that?
I
or-
want to do that so bad.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
And then I've seen they also have where they have the Gatling gun mounted.
Yeah, they have
ATVs
machine
thing.
guns up there. And
Yeah,
be awesome. Just mowing,
mowing
them.
them down.
I've also seen it where they set them up in like side by sides and like trucks and stuff where they're like running down these pigs. The helicopter always looks the coolest.
Yeah.
Sitting out the side of a
Yeah.
helicopter with an AR.
I would-
just-
I mean, that's the closest thing you can get to being like in the military in like an active war zone, right? And you're just like, I'm in a helicopter, I got a machine gun, and I'm
Closest
mowing
thing to
down,
Modern
like-
Warfare, Call of Duty,
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
got to be the closest thing you could legally like go and do. It's probably that.
But those I've looked into it. I think they're not that cheap. I think they're like $2,500 a pop
Oh yeah,
per person. I think.
to go do that in
Mhm.
Texas.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. It's a fucking whole ass helicopter taking up in the air, all that fuel, the
well, and
pilot.
the permission too.
and
'Cause I
permissions.
think those are private lands. So like that guy that's running that thing with the helicopter, he's probably paying those. He's either paying to be able to hunt over their land, or they just have a very bad pig problem, and it's some farmer that wants him to
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
think
take him out.
I think in Texas their pig problem is so bad that they actually, during certain seasons, I think they pay the hunters to get as many pigs as possible.
There are places that will happen, but those are not like they're not paying some guy that's just going out there for the first time to go do it. Like they're paying a professional
Oh, right,
to go
right,
and
of
like
course, yeah.
And they're
take care of
probably that professional's taking a group with him that is also getting paid on top of it. Like the group
Could
is
be,
not
yeah.
getting paid, the person is getting paid probably.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And a lot of the I guess the way that most of those guys do it is they're running dogs. Like there's probably not enough like margin in it to like for the helicopters. Like you're not getting enough
Right.
of them.
Yeah.
So like running dogs is going to be your most like successful way, especially if it's a property where they're hunting the pigs a lot because they're trying to get rid of them. The pigs are becoming very smart and educated on all the tactics that are being used. Some of those, you might have a property that's overrun with pigs and you never see a pig, but you just see this damage like to the
yeah,
fields.
dig up everything.
And you only get pictures of groups of them at night. I mean, there's all sorts of traps that they make that are like big, like 20-foot circles, and they'll they'll be on remotes with like a live feed, and you can drop the trap, and it'll just like grab a whole
Show
group
that.
of them.
Show that main page again. Look at their slogan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wait, so you're
There's
telling
a
me
whole
you've
ass
never shot
military
machine
fucking
guns
chopper.
from a helicopter?
It's a Black Hawk. Yeah, that would be so much fun to go do.
How much is it?
That's what I'm trying to find out. 1 second.
Pricing right there. There you go,
Night
$1,200.
vision hog hunts, helicopter.
Helicopter starting at 3,000.
Yeah, that's I told you. Yeah, but that's starting it, right? Like that's I'm sure you get 30 minutes. You know, whatever you
Yeah.
get, you get.
You
know.
get a 15-minute
But
flight.
That's
there
an
you go,
hour.
right there, $7,000 right there. What does that include?
The
Ricky?
works.
Yeah, read what is.
2 hour flight. So let's go for the cheapest here. I'm not looking for the.
It's probably an
the
hour.
one. That's
What-
still too high.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's see this.
2 hours.
Helicopter hunting, hog hunt, 2 hours of flight time, semi-auto firearm with ammunition.
No. I want.
Yeah, the full auto is
So,
probably...
yeah, that one's gonna be a
But to
little-
go down, you got to select your guns too. Like it depends what you will go down. No. Right there, it says upgrade your Texas hog hunting trip. So I guess you can.
Yeah, so that'll be the full
So
auto
this-
is going to be
this is
most
the gun
expensive.
range. That was just to an add-on package to shoot the miniguns, but not from a helicopter.
Yeah, so that's $1,200 on
There you
top
go, the
of
top
what you
one
pay.
right there. You have machine gun.
But this one
Checked.
has a air machine gun upgrade, shoot full auto from the helicopter. Video
Oh,
service
video
upgrade,
service,
record
yeah.
The helicopter hog hunt.
That's cool.
Well, what is?
And then
I
this
mean,
one-
you'd
but
want a
this one
video.
also-
Yeah,
that
you'd
shit.
want that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
This
This
spending
one also
$5,000.
includes the night vision, infrared, and thermal guided hog hunt.
What about the top one? What
So
is
that's from the
extra?
ground from
Oh,
vehicle. So that hunt is what I just did, right?
Okay,
Is
right.
the night vision guided hunt from the vehicles. That's similar to what I just did. So you're going to go out in the day for 2 hours, shoot from the helicopter, and then at night do what I was just talking about.
Go back up. What is the last one? Yeah, that.
What does this get you
You
added?
get the helicopter, you get the video service, you get the machine gun range experience.
Oh, they added the range experience.
Yeah. That's a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
The range experience. You're probably out there shooting all those like fucking, gigantic big caliber guns just for the hell
I
of
just
it.
watch-
Yeah.
There's a lot of streamers that'll go to like I don't want to be wrong, but I think it's like Cambodia and countries like that
Oh,
where
yeah,
we
with the fucking
where we
grenades.
over time of history have left so many guns and shit scattered all over the place.
Yeah,
And I saw this streamer.
RPGs.
He was literally shooting like RPG, freaking RPK, which is like a big.
So go back,
7.62
Miggy. Go back, Miggy.
light
So
machine gun.
that pig is pretty big, right? Like right there.
That's a pretty normal size
It's
one.
normal size one. Okay.
Yeah, so that's about the size of the one I was saying. I shot like the 80 pounder.
Mm.
Like that's what that is. They get bigger than that for sure. That's a big one.
So that doesn't
That's a
have
really
its
big
bowls.
one. No, he probably does. It's kind of like rare to have them
Once.
where somebody's taken that much time and effort to go and catch the pigs and do that to them. Some places, I was just saying, some places will,
Yeah.
but there was an old TV show I used to watch when I was a kid. I think it was called The
Jesus
Pig
Christ!
Man.
Look at the size of that motherfucker.
We go look up The Pig Man. This guy, he would just like go. He was like one of those professionals that like you'd pay to get the hogs out the property, and they just did like a, I don't know, reality TV show basically about this guy like running dog. He was just crazy, and he would just go after him.
What's the biggest pig you shot?
Probably like I don't think I've ever had one weighed, but I would say bigger than like 220, between 220 and 250 somewhere in there.
That's a pretty big size pig.
Big one, yeah.
And what's the best? Okay, so
Yeah,
let's,
that guy. He usually lost an eye.
right.
He lost an eye.
He's got an eye patch. Yeah.
So let's talk about the actual preparation, right? Like the food aspect of it, right?
Mhm.
So what's the best way to go about it? Because I've heard, venison could be really delicious. There's no in between. It's either fucking sucks or it's really good. Like,
Mhm.
so what's the favorite way to eat venison?
Well, so there's different parts that are going to taste better than others. So like your tenderloins and your backstrap are going to be like the highest quality,
Mhm.
right? So like with a backstrap, you could cook that medium rare, season it and eat it, and it would be pretty good, but it would still taste a little bit chewy. So then you just do stuff with it, right? Like sometimes I'll take it and I'll fillet it open and put like cream cheese, pepperoncinis, put it back together, wrap it in bacon, put it on the grill.
Just to make it a little more.
Give it like more moisture to it. There's a lot of it too is like, you know, you only kill so many deer or whatever per year.
Also, Mother of the Homeland, I don't know who that is, like letting me on a damn podcast. Sure. Contact Miggy or Eddie. And then
I have no idea. But
also
what was it? Is it that you only shoot so many?
You only shoot so many, and then you get so much meat off of it. Like you get 50 pounds of venison. It's like it might take you all year if you're eating it often, and then it could just be old, right? So like if people are going around sharing their venison, they're sharing like
old meat.
Yeah. It's a lot of times it's old, or it's like the parts that they've already gone through the best parts and ate them themselves, and then they're just bringing stuff to get rid of it so they free up freezer space.
At that point, yeah, you probably making ground venison. That's the only way really you can tackle it.
Yeah.
One of the few times that I've ever ate venison was because of my grandpa's boss. He would go up north to Georgia and he would hunt at probably one of those leases, and he would bring back a shit ton of venison and he would give it out to different people.
Yeah.
He would have so much that my grandma would have some, and then we would get some too.
Yeah, you get so much meat off of it. Sometimes people might just have 3-year-old venison sitting in the freezer that they're just like, they don't want to get rid of it because they spent so much money and time and effort like getting the deer, and they have this like 1 pound thing of deer sausage and they just don't know what to do with it, and then they give it to somebody and then you cook it and then it's like not good.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, like the hunters, like they want people to get into it. So, like, you're trying to make it as good as you possibly can so that people eat it and enjoy it and then want to get into the sport. So, like, that's how, like, my view is on it. So, like, last night I spent I was up till, like, midnight making sausage out of the pigs that I shot because I want to have the guys that I went with that didn't want to skin the pigs.
To actually taste it, yeah.
I want them to taste it and enjoy it and think that it's really good so that they want, next time I go there, that they're like, oh no, let's not feed them all to the gators. Let's take care of ourselves.
What would be the best way about it? Probably the best way about it would be just to skin it right then and there, right? If you're gonna throw it in the back of the truck so it doesn't smell up the car and stuff like that.
Well, you gotta skin it right away because it's so hot in like Georgia and Florida. Like the meat's gonna spoil. So like you wanna be skinning it within an hour.
Right away into the cooler or whatever.
Right away into the cooler on ice, and then I like to let the meat stay in the cooler, and I open the drain plug and let it bleed through and try and get as much blood out of the meat as possible. That's what gives it that gamey flavor is the blood. It's the iron. So you're trying to like draw the blood out through the ice and let it kind of rotate through for a couple days, and then you can take that.
It's very lean. Throw it in a cooler with ice and a little bit of water in it.
Yeah, you can do that and it's like salt the water a little bit, but the ice is melting in there. So I just put it in there with some ice and let it go through for a couple days. Ice will melt. It'll keep draining out, add more ice to it. You can add some salt in there. But the meat's very lean. So like you have to add, if you're going to make sausage, you have to add something else to it. You got to add some sort of
bacon
fat
or something, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I added like, I went to like a butcher locally here and bought some fat and added it in, mixed it in. I actually bought some,
you got your own machine to like.
I borrowed one.
Borrowed one?
Yeah, I borrowed one. But I added for one of the like rounds of sausage, I took like a really, really good, like super hot Alabama sausage that was already made, and I added it into the grinder like with the pig that I shot and the fat, so I took that super hot sausage and made basically like mild sausage out of it, but just to get that like flavor that those guys were getting out of their sausage added into mine. So like I tried to be a little bit creative with it to make it taste as good as I could.
You tried ever ChatGPT or AI to see what would it suggest, like what's the best way to go about it?
No, but I watch a lot of like he has a pretty big podcast. It's like the Meat Eater podcast. The guy's like probably one of the most famous hunters ever, and all of his stuff is all about like shooting the animal, processing it, and the creative things that you can do with wild game and how to cook it. So like I see a lot of different like recipes and stuff, and you just you got to deal with what you have and what's accessible to you. But
that was my one thing, like, the whole hunting thing. Like, if I ever gone, I would want to eat the meat. But the problem is, like, I always hear these stories that, like, you need to know what you're doing, otherwise it's just not gonna be good.
But you're not gonna go like if you go on a guided hog hunt, the guide is going to skin the meat for you. And 90% of the time on a guided trip, they will also have a processor already lined up, and then you just go and take it there. So like he might skin the pig for you, then you take it in a cooler with you have like your 4 quarters, right? So you have both shoulders, hams, back straps, tenderloins. If you want to save the ribs, you can save the ribs. You take that over to a processor, and then you tell them, all right, I want, this much. I want the 2 front quarters. I want that made into summer sausage, or I want it just made into bulk ground sausage, or I want you to leave the back straps whole, or I want you to even like marinate them, and they'll do that for you. And then you come in a month and you pick it up, and everything's perfectly ready to go, ready to put in the freezer. That's how most people.
Yeah, but that's a month. You gotta wait. You gotta go back.
Right.
So
It's month
if
old.
you go with this, one of the chatters in chat suggested this company that's pretty reasonable, $500. I would do that, and they will quarter up your meat in the field, so you can bring a cooler and you can take the meat home.
Right, and then you would then take it over to a processor and then have them do stuff. But because you have it quartered, you're gonna those back straps I was talking about. Just take those home and then make something with the backstrap yourself right away. It's the best cut of meat, and let them take care of the hard, difficult parts.
The backstrap is basically the fillet of the pig, right?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. So
they're not that big. They're probably about that thick.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
So you take the best piece, take it home, use it right away, so you get that immediate like satisfaction out of it, and then in a month from now, you get all this like ready to make stuff that's gonna be good. You can serve with people.
Now, on this journey, if you were to put a number on how much money have you spent so far?
Well, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I couldn't even.
His wife might see this. We can't.
Yeah, I don't even know how much money I've spent. Jeez, a lot. But not even close to the amount that my dad has spent on me or my uncle or my whole family. Like, just like thousands and thousands of dollars. And a lot of that money goes back towards like conservation. Like when you buy stuff at Bass Pro Shop or all these like hunting stores, the taxes are much higher. And a lot of it goes towards like
The conservation.
habitat. Like that's what I was saying about like hunters. Like there would not be, if there wasn't hunting, there would be no deer. That's what people don't understand. There would be no deer at all if it wasn't for hunters. They're the ones that are making sure that there is habitat for the animals. And a lot of their
'cause people would just like kill the animal and call it a day.
yeah, or like cars would just kill them. Like there's problems with the like wildlife causes a lot of issues, and there's a lot of resources to keep them going at the level they're at. So like when you're out there and you're spending all this money to have a hunt camp that has 50 different food plots that you're planting every year just to provide good forage for the deer. It's like
I see
there's
what you
way
mean.
more deer on that property because
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, because they're kind of like enticing them to procreate because there's plentiful food, so now they can biology
Exactly.
kicks in and now they can have more little baby deers.
Yeah, like if let's say you have 1,000 acres and that 1,000 acres could just naturally hold 50 deer, right? But then you want more than 50 deer because you want to have the best chance of like harvesting a good animal. So then you put in food plots and you put in feeders and you add protein into like the corn that you're feeding them, and you put all this. There's so much research out there on how to grow these like bigger animals. You do all that and set it up. Well, now that same 1,000 acres might hold 150 deer. So it's like there's more deer on the landscape because the hunters are doing it. And then that hunter grows it from 50 to 150, and then he legally might only be allowed to shoot $2 a year. So he's just adding 50 or so deer to the landscape, and he's taking 2. That's where it becomes like a big difference. And then plus the government is doing that as well, and a lot of those programs that are like boots on the ground are all paid for by your tax dollars that are coming from
Buying the gear.
So when is the deer mating season?
So you call that the rut. So there will be 6 days out of the year that a doe comes into heat, and only for those 6 days could like that doe be bred. So the bucks all year, they're waiting for that like rut. and then they get their entire amount of testosterone they get for the whole year, they get during that rut, during that like window. And they just chase the does all over the place, trying to breed as many different does as they can. And that's why that's the best to hunt, because they're normally nocturnal. But during the daytime, during the rut, they're chasing them all around.
So you're allowed to hunt during that time?
Yeah, that's the, like, most people, they only hunt, they're like, I'm not going and sit in a tree stand unless it's the rut. Like, I only want to go when it's that time.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen videos where people will approach a deer. Deer is kind of like frozen, and they're talking about it running around, smash so many does that at this point he can't even move, and then they'll like jolt him, and then they'll run away.
Yeah, and then then there's other things where it's like, well, you could have too many does on the property. So like you want your bucks to be running around because you want to be able to have a chance to shoot the buck. So you want him to have a limited number of does so that he either is getting jealous because he doesn't have one, so he wants to go fight another buck to take his deer or his doe, or he can't find his doe, that maybe that doe lost him because she's running away, so he needs to go find another one. So there's all different things that you can do to trick them, right? You can put out like doe and heat urine, and you can pour it on the ground. Like we'll even take it and pour it on our boots, and then we'll walk to our tree stand, hoping that a buck will be cruising, smell the doe and heat urine, follow where I walked, and then I can shoot him there, right? Or you can rattle antlers together and make it sound like two bucks are fighting, and maybe a third buck will go, what are they fighting about? I want to go fight over her. He runs over there, tries to
No way.
Yep, and then you shoot him because he just heard the antlers crashing together.
That's a crazy setup,
Yeah,
bro.
you got
Yeah.
tricking the hell out of
So you're trying to trick them.
Yeah.
But if there's too many deer on the property, right, or too many does specifically, then like at
King
the
in the castle.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to
yeah, he's
do
like, it doesn't
shit.
matter. I don't
Yeah.
need to do anything.
Yeah.
Like if you got a buck that's running around, he's got 6 does hanging out with him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need any more than that.
Phyllis
Not
doesn't
moving,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not moving. I'm just gonna stay right here with these girls. I don't care about.
Phyllis don't want it, but Quickly does. Just walk across the street.
Yeah.
You know?
That's Dan Buxarian right there.
Yeah.
Bucks area.
Yeah.
That was good, Mickey. That was good.
I tried.
You haven't had a good one in a while. That was good.
Yeah. So you want them running around. So that's why, like, and you go, oh, well, like, why did you shoot a doe or whatever? A lot of times, like, the only reason people are shooting does is because there's too many does. And, you know, they get to a carrying capacity for the property. So, like, if you're getting closer, we're like, man, there's too many deer on the landscape. And, like,
They can do damage too, I'm sure.
they can. Yeah. So you want to try and keep them at, like, a prime number for your property where the bucks still have to chase for the rut, that there's still a lot of does to be making the population go up, replacing itself, and not, you know, making it so that the deer are having to fight over food or getting malnourished. You want them all to have good genetics, because having a big buck with big antlers all comes from when the mom is pregnant. What kind of forage did she have?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if
yeah.
she didn't get the right nutrition when she was pregnant,
Done.
it's going to be a smaller. That's going to be a smaller buck. He might never grow to his potential. But if that doe had good forage throughout her pregnancy, then that buck that she's going to deliver is going to be a lot healthier.
Do you mess with turkeys at all, or no?
A little bit. I've only ever shot a few turkeys, but turkey hunting is like, that is awesome. That's one of the most fun things.
Really? What makes it so different?
Because that's probably the one where you can talk to them the most as far as like tricking them in to do something that you want, because they're very like vocal, like they're gobbling and stuff. So you go out there, like how you would turkey hunt if it's like a perfect situation is you would go scouting and you'd find where the turkeys are roosting. So they'll pick like an oak tree with a big limb on it, and they'll sit up there every night, and they'll sit in the same tree. And then they have different areas that they fly down to. They land on the ground. They'll walk around all day looking for a hen to breed with, right? So you go and you find where he's roosting at. You kind of know where he's going to fly down to in the morning. And then you set up decoys, like hen decoys. And then you call and you act like you're a hen, and you try and call that turkey over to your decoys. And they'll just be gobbling, going crazy, trying to come over to where you're at.
You thirsty motherfucker. Yeah. We'll get a shell
So
in a
the
minute.
cat turkeys, you're essentially fake pimping hens.
Yes. Yeah. But then they get real aggressive too. So like that bird right there, you see the beard on it? It has that feather hanging down in the middle. That's a big feather. Yeah. So the older the turkey gets, the more that grows out. So then there's a young turkey, you call him a Jake. So a Jake is a young turkey. You have a little beard, like an inch long. So if you put like 3 hen decoys that are all big fat hens, and you put like, they have one, the name of the brand is called like Funky Chicken, and it's this little skinny looking male Jake turkey. He's like, looks weird as hell, and you put him in with all these hens. He comes over and just attacks that thing. Yeah.
What is it called? Funky what?
Is a Funky Chicken.
Can you pull that up? Maybe Funky
You
Chicken.
probably look it up on YouTube and it'll be a video of him like attacking the decoys. Yeah, it is crazy though, and they are so aggressive when they find like your decoys. Like they'll. Do you like Funky Chicken turkey decoy?
Right
yeah. Yeah, so you see how skinny that one is compared to the.
And that doesn't have that long. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's just a plastic decoy, and they have it sitting out there, and it looks all weird, and they hate it.
So they're pretty stupid, huh? Or no?
No, they
just kick them.
They'll. It's weird sometimes when they're in kind of. So that's a Jake right there. That is a real Jake attacking a fake Jake decoy. Like his beard is only a couple inches long. Like that's a very young, like 1-year-old bird. That's not a big old Tom. You see how his just pointing out. A big bird it'll almost touch the ground. It's like.
Can you pull up? I think you had it up. Like you go back.
Yeah, so like you can see they're
No,
yeah,
the
not
feather.
the white
It's
ones.
right
Yeah,
in
like,
the middle.
Yeah, like that's a big turkey right there. But he's puffed up, so they only puff up like that when they're like
Okay, so this is
wanting
it
to
right
fight.
there.
Yeah, that's what they look like walking around. And then when they want to fight, they puff all their feathers out like that. But they have the best eyesight of like any animal, I think. I think one of the best, if not the best eyesight. So turkeys are like, if they see you move at all, they're gone. Like they're running away. Like they are very smart as far as like being scared of humans. They're super spooky, and they get very smart on not getting shot. But there's a few ways to trick them, and those ways that you can trick them work very well. Decoys is going to be your like number one way that you can trick them, and really good calling are going to be the other one. But like you said, they're in a ground blind so that the turkeys can't see them.
Yeah.
But turkey hunting, you have this whole plan of I know he roosted here. I know he flies down here. I'm going to go set up. Everything's going to be perfect. And then you get there in the morning, he doesn't show up, and you can hear him gobbling, and he's half a mile away. But with that, you're like, oh, well, now I know he's over there. So then you try and go flank him and like run around through the woods and get set up where you can kind of cut them off, set your decoys up. It's like fast paced because you're trying to run around and get in front of them, trying to figure out what they're doing. He's shooting it with a bow. That you would normally do with a shotgun. You'd normally turkey hunt with a shotgun. But yeah, turkey hunting is cool. It'll make your heart race when you hear them like gobble in the woods when everything's perfectly quiet, and then you hear that thing fire off. It's crazy. Yeah. So he's.
Have you seen those? He's
done.
Arrows that are like twist and it just like decapitates
Dude,
them?
that's what I was thinking.
It's a wire. Yeah, it's like it has like 3 blades that are long that come out, and it has a wire all the way between them. You're trying to like catch one of those wires across their head, because when they're puffed up like that, the bird's a lot smaller than that. So like you could shoot an arrow into them and just go right through feathers, and you think you got them right in the middle of the body, and there was nothing there. So you want to headshot them. Their heads are about the size of a microphone. Now it's like you got to be really good to hit them with that arrow. So they come up with different broadheads to be able to try and have a bigger profile so you can hit them in the head.
Clip, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you, Connor, for coming out. But before we wrap it up, we spent this time.
We were talking
learning,
about smells, right?
Yeah, we talked about smells a little bit. But basically, we're gonna bring you into our world a little bit, and we got a couple new perfumes that Jay brought in. This is something that happens pretty often on the podcast, so you'll get to experience this with us today. Jay, I'll let you talk about them a little bit. Maybe
Well, there's not much to talk about. This brand is basically an Arabic brand, and they're known for either duping, basically making perfumes that smell exactly like the expensive shit would, to a certain degree, up to a certain percentage, right? But I have two. So this one is their original creation, and the other one is like a mix of two different ones, right? So it was a blind buy. Basically, I never smelled them before, and they're fairly cheap. So you can just pick them up. So
You can smell them and see which one you like the best.
I was getting them a birthday present, but I couldn't get free shipping because it wasn't
enough.
enough to get the free shipping. I was like, fuck it. I always wanted to get these. Let me add them to the cart and get them along with it. You know,
We're gonna
and so-
use this box as
yeah,
our. That's our
yeah. We're gonna
test
ghetto
strips.
rig it in the best ghetto rig fashion.
Hey, Eddie's always coming into the office
Smelling.
smelling all different ways.
And I haven't sprayed these. I haven't smelled them, so I don't know what they are. So I just kind of waited for this too.
We'll go one at a time.
No, you just spray them. Fuck it. This one actually smells really good. I can already smell it.
Yeah, that one does
smells
smell
pretty-
good.
Smells really good. Well, actually, I say W for a blind buy. It's pretty good. It's
I
like
can
a
hear some
sweeter,
smell in
Do
there.
fresh.
you know what cologne that one's supposed to be like mimicking? Or-
This one,
That's this is one of their
in-
very few original creations.
okay.
yeah, they're. I think if I'm correct, because it's got a little bit of a
It's
like
very
bubblegum
familiar.
sweet.
Like body wash kind of.
Yeah, body wash, clean, like everyday wear. You know, summertime.
No,
perfect
yeah,
for
it's good.
Florida. Yeah,
A little too generic for my liking, but it's good.
I mean for 20, I think it was $30 or something like
Yeah,
that. You
They're
can-
all
Oh,
less
yeah,
than
that's-
yeah, you can
$40.
beat it.
And that smells
And-
great.
This basically supposed to mimic a little bit Invictus Aqua, which was like a perfume that they were making back in the day, but at about 70% similarity.
Nice fresh sun. Spray the shit
This
out of
is
it in the
different.
shower.
I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know. It's too
Needs to sit.
lemony. I don't know.
Maybe needs to say
Maybe.
synthetic.
No, not necessarily synthetic. Just spray this for shits and
What
giggles.
is this?
Yeah, that
It's
one's
not
my
bad. I
favorite.
smelled
it.
it.
Smells good.
I
But
smelled the ginger in it.
Yeah, but it's too cleaning supply for me.
It's the lemon.
Yeah.
I have one that's very similar to that. I never use it.
Yeah.
I like the smell of it, but then I just gravitate towards other ones.
That one is inspired. Is an inspiration of two that are very famous. One's called Vibrato, and the other one's Tiger. They're both to be like lemon, gingery, fresh, kind of fruity. I'm wearing the original one of them,
Yeah, that one's.
but also
Is
like
This
Very
is not
similar,
bad. This
but-
is not bad. It's for $30.
that's
It's
exactly
not
what I was
fucking
gonna
bad.
say, right? So like the original, what does Vibrato go for in the store? Like $250, $300, some crazy shit.
$350.
Yeah, versus that's like $30, right?
You know what I mean?
Like that's
Somebody
Hey.
in high school that doesn't have too much money, somebody in middle school that wants to get some perfume, like these are perfect. You know, you just get these.
Yeah.
you should have smelled this already before. I wear this to work all the time. This is just another bottle for me.
That one is nice. That
It
one
smells
is
very weird on paper, though. I'm gonna be honest.
I've smelled that one before.
Yeah, this is
Not
just-
gonna lie, Eddie
this
walks in the office with like 6 squirts of that thing. I'm like,
yeah,
yep.
this is
Yeah, you're
nuclear.
not
Eddie's
supposed
here.
to do six
No,
squirts.
I
You
don't
know
do
that, right?
six. This shit's just nuclear, like
Mm.
bad.
Yeah, like if you do 6 squirts, like I'm talking
Hey, that's not
about,
what I'm doing.
China would never try to evade us. You know what I'm saying? That you just, or you just
Miguel,
send
did
one
you
of
try them?
those.
I didn't try the second one.
Where's the other?
This one's good though, for sure.
Highness. That's highness.
It's actually pretty good. Smell it now. It's more ginger now.
Yeah, no, it's better now.
Yeah.
It's better now. Kind of reminds me of a dentist, though. I don't know why.
Let me see the first one.
It's got
Miggy
a
had it.
menthol taste or scent to it.
Libby gets a lot of. My wife gets a lot of like perfume sent to the house for free. Like they just
Oh,
want
she
her to
got
try
that
'em
Saint
out.
birthday shit. Probably no.
No, so she's
She's
an
a-
influencer, so she gets a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
These
she just gets
companies
stuff
do.
sent to the house, and sometimes they'll send me like I have like 3 like colognes that they've just sent to her, just like for me to have, and
Yeah,
all of them are kind of have that second one.
yeah,
They kind of smell like that one.
yeah. That's like that style of scent right now is like really big.
Blew up. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Second one
past 6
smells like
months,
burnt
it blew
Yeah.
up big.
They've all kind of had that same like scent
Ginger
to 'em.
vibe.
Yeah.
What are your favorites to wear?
I have no idea whatever she hands me. I guess.
No, because you're saying you gravitate towards other ones.
She has this other one that was like a black bottle. I don't even know what.
Is it a black
It
long
is.
bottle? Skinny?
No, it's round and it's like
Is there a snake
almost
on
like
it?
diamond plated around it.
Diamond.
Starts with a V.
Valentino.
Yeah.
Black bottle.
I mean, all the Valentinos are black with like red lettering. Or,
Yeah,
or
black with
pink,
red
purple,
lettering
or
on it.
purple lettering. Yeah. Coral Fantasy is a black bottle.
Oh, Valentino. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the
that
one
one
that I
is nice.
use. I just use that one when I'm gonna put some on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
the one
right
right there.
Yeah.
My God, right there.
Born
It's
aroma.
good. They make some pretty good stuff, Valentino.
Mm.
I like. They are not. They still kind of lean towards the mainstream, but I feel like they have some scents that aren't like as
I could
close to like a lot of other people's stuff.
Yeah, no, well, I could confidently say that Valentino is one of the mass appealing brands, right? Like that's their thing. When they came out with that Born in Roma line, it blew up immediately, and they just kept making flankers over flankers,
I
basically.
wore
Like,
that one when we went to Italy, so I could remember it. You know?
yeah,
I think that's the one that I have. Is that one?
Mm.
Fire. It's really good.
Yeah, my dad owns a bottle too. It's good. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you, Perry, for coming over and having a good time with us. It's a pretty good episode. So,
Thank you. No,
thank you for
thank
coming.
you, man,
and
for
spending
inviting
the
me.
time with us. And yeah, guys, we will catch you guys next week. Peace.